I'm going to have some good stuff for this one.
But I'm excited. Here's a story on ksat.com, James. HEB has the best online ordering curbside pickup in the nation, consumer survey says. Um, I mean, as soon as you hear that headline, I know you've got some thoughts. So take it away.
I felt like curbside should have always been around even before COVID. And there was very few places. I remember Outback Steakhouse always did curbside. I don't know about always, but I know they were one of the first people around here that did the curbside thing. And there's always cars lined up out front. So when I seen, Applebee's started doing it too, if I recall. But if you got kids, you don't want to get out of the car to go inside and get food. If it's we're in Michigan, wind's blowing like hell, it's cold as shit out, icy. Do I want to, order food, go park somewhere, trudge to a parking lot, to pick up dinner, right? Now you like F that, I'm going home and ordering a pizza, they're going to deliver to my door. So I thought that was always the right move. If you can't have a drive-through window, Chipotle's doing that now where you can't order at the drive-through window. They call it Chipotle Lane. You order it through the app, and then you can pick it up at the window.
Hmm.
And my thought has always been never underestimate the consumer's desire for laziness
Right.
or desire for convenience, right? The easier you make it for a customer to do business with you, the better off you are. Now, COVID forced everybody into doing curbside, right? Problem is, there's a lot of places that weren't doing curbside, or they just refuse to do curbside, I guess.
Yeah.
Some of the places thought they were too good for it, or I guess they were just financially stable enough to where they didn't care. A lot of companies had to adapt and get their technology set up and all this stuff, and rough process. But now that COVID was kind of coming down now, people stopped doing it. So I'm calling around like I'm still trying to be safe.
Mhm.
And I'll call somewhere and it's like, well, you still doing curbside? They're like, no. And I'm like, all right, well, if I ordered online, if I call you, can you just like run it to the door so I don't got to come inside? Now, Kane, we're not talking like a 5K sprint here.
Yeah.
I just need you to bring the bag from the back of the restaurant to the front door, right? And I get it. Someone could also say, well, you could also just walk from the front door to the back of the restaurant. What's the risk? And it's like, well, I've had prior health issues. I'm not risking anything. I'm not dying over a cheeseburger, right? I just,
Right.
call me
Yeah.
crazy. Like,
Yeah.
but I'm the customer too. I shouldn't have to do that.
Mhm.
And, then I ask, well, could you just do that? And he's like, well, we don't do curbside. And I'm like, what if I just throw you an extra 20? Would you bring the food out? And they're like, we don't do curbside. And
That's
I'm like,
insane.
you know what? You should just do it, right? And
Yeah.
I'm even offering to like try to comp you more for the inconvenience, like way over the top, just trying to like, I'm never going back there, right?
Right.
And I think that attitude from quite a few places where the inconvenience on their part, like it would require you to leave the desk for a minute. And I'm sure if you told your manager, I'm going to run this bag out real quick, they weren't going to scold you. And if they were, then screw off, you'd go out of business, right?
Mhm.
And now you're seeing cases tick back up, and they're talking about mask mandate again and the Delta variant. And it's like, well, now we're back in that bubble where people are getting a little twitchy again about going into places. And it's like, well, you kind of just should have stuck with the curbside option no matter what. Just make it part of your business practice from now on. Because, Kate, I would always pay more to not risk COVID or to make my life faster. Like if I didn't have to run into Home Depot to get these screws, if you could just bring them out, if I could order them online, I could drive up and you could just hand them to me, I'd pay more for that because I
Yeah.
value my time. By the time I go in and try to find the screws, try to find one of the, salespeople that's usually running away from me to find this screw and then go to the checkout, which is always a mile long.
Yeah.
I just, dude, I pay like $2 or something, like $5 just to pull up to a window and give me my stuff or run it out to my car, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm a big drive-through window person. I know people that they got kids and they don't want to go inside. They're elderly. They don't want to get out of their cars in the winter. Convenience is a major thing. Now, you saw, Target will deliver to my house now, and I live in the middle of nowhere. Like someone will roll up in a van and just like drop stuff. I'm like, this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, if COVID wasn't around, I wouldn't mind, walking around the store, and we all like to do that, right? But am I going to go walk around Target for an hour? They suck you in, right? You go in to spend $20 at Target and you end up spending $200. I'm down for that. But again, do I want to die or get a bar of soap? No. There's this risk that I don't want to take right now. But, Target will do curbside, they'll do delivery. But I kept running into this, well, we don't do curbside, or we stopped doing curbside. I don't know if you've experienced that at all.
To be honest, I haven't actually. I think I've done curbside maybe twice, and that was to pick up, I think it was Whole Foods or something. I especially dislike walking through stores looking for things. That's like groceries. I like when you said, that you like going into Target. At least in my opinion, I couldn't imagine anything worse. But that's just me. Yeah, so I don't have a lot of experience with curbside, but I wanted to bring up this stat here, James. I mean, if you talk about data informing strategy, I mean, 78% of Americans increase their use of in-store curbside pickup options, which is consistent with what you're saying, and then 69% of those want to continue using curbside. What would even what would incentivize a company to stop doing curbside, knowing that nearly everybody that's done it wants to keep doing it?
I'm sure it causes problems, right? You need probably more staff potentially. And, it's hard getting people to work right now, especially in retail and the hospitality industry as a whole. So I can see that's an issue. A lot of times you get curbside, you're missing items and substitutions. I mean, it's an annoying process, but you're looking at almost 70% of people say they want to keep doing it. And so why stop doing it? Increase these options. And, and Uber Eats, for example, if I'm tied up on like conference calls for 3 hours, I can't run out to get food, and I haven't got time to cook nothing. I'm gonna Uber Eat something because I'm just stuck on the phone. They give an option for priority.
Yeah.
And if I want my shit right now, I can pay $1.49 more, and they'll bump it up. People will pay for this stuff, right? Why not keep putting? I mean, increases your margin at the end of the day to get people to pay for a premium, to pay for priority, to pay for convenience, to not have to deal with the hassle, to not risk COVID, right? Especially if you got kids, if you're older, if you're in a hurry. But some days I don't want to walk around Target, right? I mean, when I say walk around Target, the thing is like, well, it's different shopping for food. Like when I'm walking around the Target food aisles, I might have 20 items on my mind when you're shopping online and you type in those specific options.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you don't think about things you needed at home until you walk down the aisle and see it.
True.
And it's like sometimes I just like to walk through there and it's like, oh man, I forgot I needed K-cups to take camping, Where online you got to have like the specific list and you type it in and then you go. So there's times when it's like I would like to walk through the store to like catch up on all the inventory of things that I forgot about. But other than that, I'm just as happy saying, here's my 30 most common items I need. I'm going to order that shit on Target. Give me curbside.
Yep.
I tried ordering something from Home Depot and they sent me a text message saying it's ready. I drove down there at 11 a.m. Now, my mistake, I didn't look at the email they sent me, only a text message. I get down there, it's 11 a.m. I click on the link in text to say I'm here, and it says curbside doesn't open till 12. And I'm like, son of a bitch. So I go look at the email, and at the bottom of the email, it says that. Now, maybe you should have said that in the text. And if any of you have been in a Home Depot trying to get anything, it's not quick.
that was the experience I was imagining in my head when I said I can't stand walking through stores.
Exactly. So I call them. It's like, can someone like meet me at the door? I run it out. Like, we don't do curbside till noon. It's like, I just left it there, and I let they refunded my money. I'm like, F off. I ended up ordering through Lowe's, and holy crap. The cool thing was, even Lowe's, I was trying to get these stainless steel bolts. I'm trying to fix something. I needed 8, and they only had 6. Dude, they actually called me. It's like, we only got 6. Do you want me to cancel the order? Would you like me to source them from another store? What would you? It's like, that's customer service.
Yeah.
I technically like Home Depot better, but I'm going to go with the good experiences and people that want to make my life easier, because I know it's crazy to say this in 2021, but I'm the customer. So it's like, oh, cool. These people give a shit. So now I'm more likely to go do curbside at Lowe's. But maybe it's just me. Have you ever been kind of in a groove where you ate at certain places often?
Oh yeah, Panera Bread.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you notice that the restaurants that do really well have these customers that I go on Panera kicks. There's like unfortunately, the sandwich I like, by the time I put all the stuff on, it's like $15 for a sandwich, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's like I built a sandwich and they're like, oh, we got to run your credit. What's your FICO? I'm like, God damn it. The sandwich is that expensive?
What are you adding to the sandwich that's $15? My goodness.
Double chicken, double cheese. My problem is the way it comes. It's this huge chunk of bread with not much in it.
That's
so funny. I feel like I got to add more chicken and cheese to make the proportions balance out. But by the time I add all the shit to it, it's like, man, we need a 720 plus FICO, or we're not going to be able to sell this to you. But yeah, I go on Panera kicks, or there's times when I eat Chipotle Grill 5 times a week. And I think sometimes really underestimate, like businesses underestimate as we're creatures of habit, right?
Yeah.
When I'm in that groove, when I'm eating Chipotle Grill 5 times a week or whatever, don't break that habit.
Yep.
And COVID broke everybody's habit. The people that go to Target and they graze for hours at a time, I will walk around and I'm going for like 2 hours and hang out and get a Starbucks and shit. But those people that, I got a family member that goes to Menards and they just look at lumber and shit. They just hang out for an hour. It's crazy. Once a consumer is in the habit, you don't want to break that habit. Last year, COVID broke all the habits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I stopped going Chipotle Grill 5 days a week. And then I started, there's other taco joints right there. And it's a lot more convenient for me. Or they got they have an outdoor window that I can just get my food through the window. I don't got to go inside. So everyone was in this groove where every Friday I go to this restaurant, every Saturday I go to this place and go shopping. And all of a sudden, all those habits were broken. And now instead of keeping me in Chipotle Grill 5 days a week, now you let me go somewhere else. And that's where I think the curbside and the convenience is everything. So when some places wouldn't do curbside, it's like you're giving me no choice but for the last 18 months, but to choose to go somewhere else. And now, because they say it's like 3 weeks or 21 days to try to break a habit or some shit. I don't know, whatever that is.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it didn't take long. Now it's been 18 months and I ain't been back to your joint. So good luck. Yeah. Because you didn't want the inconvenience or you thought you were too good to do curbside. That bike story I left in the last episode, I just, COVID's calming down and I'm safer. I'm trying to be a little more safe. Probably too safe, right? I'm probably on the other side of the spectrum right now. But when I called the guy, he didn't care. He's like, I get it. I'm going to roll that bike outside right now for you.
Yeah.
Where's that customer service and that convenience to say, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make the customer happy? Man, curbside is one of those things. So I keep, I'm invested in the hospitality industry, and it's like, man, the curbside, drive-through window, anything that you can do to make the experience easier and more convenient for the consumer. I don't know if you know this, but when they pick, when big restaurant chains, fast food, they often choose what side of the road they put a restaurant on because of traffic patterns, right?
Hmm.
I want to
Hmm.
put a coffee and donut shop on this side of the road because everyone's going towards the
The
freeway
highway. Yep. Yep.
in the morning, right? And that's where they're going to get their coffee on this side of the road. They won't put that coffee shop on the other side of the road and force people to make a left-hand turnout
Hmm.
because it's a pain in the ass. No one wants to do that. If I'm given the option to have to deal with that left-hand turn, it might take me 10 minutes. And that's the place I want to go to. And there's a place on my side of the road that I don't love as much, but it's
Yep.
not a pain in the ass. That's where I'm going.
For sure.
So, very common consumer behavior, right? That should just tell you run the food out curbside. Like, if you can, have a pickup window, if you know. And there's a lot of places I'm not going back to because they just wouldn't run the bag 35 feet from the pickup counter to the front door. And I think that's just stupid.
Well, curbside, I mean, after 18 months of this, it's no longer a luxury, right? Businesses have to look at it like a feature. And so I was thinking, as you were talking about the convenience factor, that's so real because I've noticed in myself, and I was talking to my wife about this the other night, that I'll eat a meal that I don't particularly enjoy just because it's more convenient. And I've told myself, like, I got to stop doing that because, like, I don't actually enjoy what I'm eating at that point. But just because it gets to me faster or it is an easier option to pick up. So the idea that companies now or businesses can start taking away these things it's almost suicide by, like, it's tactical suicide, I think.
I can't think of how many times I ate McDonald's or Subway when I'm traveling because it's just convenient. Because those things are
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah. Right.
They are everywhere. And it's like, well, if you're driving somewhere in the freeway and there's a McDonald's right here, and then I can go somewhere else that's got some food I want, or obviously a healthier, better option, but it's 3 or 4 miles off the exit. I'm just hitting McDonald's.
Yeah.
And it's like, how many times I've done that where I don't want to eat this shit. But when it comes down to it, do I want to invest another 20 or 30 minutes to get something else? No, it's food. I need to put something in my stomach. And this is the most convenient, quickest thing I can get, right?
Yeah. Right.
Again, very basic consumer behavior that I think everybody knows it. But, I'm just going back to, man, there's so many places that I just have not gone to in 18 months because they wouldn't run the bag 35 feet. And, okay, it's like two things. One, I mean, I offered to meet them at the door. Like, you don't got to run to my car. I just
You're
don't want
right.
to go. I don't want to go inside a closed space with a bunch of people been breathing for an hour. You're bringing less people into your restaurant, so you're bringing the exposure down for your workers and your patrons, and then you're also making it safer for your customers. Instead of having all these people come in, and making more exposure for everybody else. I just don't. Granted, if everyone ran businesses great, they'd all stay in business.
That's
Right?
true. That's true.
I've just always been a very customer service forward. You're paying me money. I'm gonna do what I gotta do to make you happy. And I don't think that is what we're witnessing it right now. I mean, the big box stores have seen they got it down mostly, but a lot of the smaller restaurants, smaller chains, they either don't want to adapt, or I mean, there's a few places. I mean, I have a friend in New York, and there's things that he wanted to get, and he's like, yeah, they just won't do. They chose to shut down for 6 months instead of do curbside.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, but if you're in that financial position, cool. I just don't think most small restaurants and bars were in that spot where they got so much money in the bank that fuck it, I'm gonna shut down for 6 months. But I'm just moving forward. I think the thought for anybody in food and beverage or retail do curbside and make it as easy as goddamn possible to do business with you. And have you, I don't know, down by you're out in flatlands of the Midwest, but I remember when COVID was going on, people were trying to get haircuts and they wanted to do them outside. Did you see anyone doing the mobile haircuts or mobile spa services or any of that stuff, or outdoors?
You know what? I think I have actually. I think I have seen those. Yep.
I just imagine if you would have set, if the weather was decent, a chair up in your garage or outside somewhere, like I'm doing outdoor haircuts for $40.
Yeah.
You would have to put those little 6 feet dots on the sidewalk for like a quarter mile. Because there's so many people that were walking around, like every dude had the like Dirt Diggler haircut from Marky Mark, with like the big bowl cut looking, like hair just growing out everywhere because they couldn't get a haircut. I'm like, dude, you could have been just killing it if you would have found an easier way to cut hair and do spa services just outdoors somewhere. Or I saw a couple of those like Ford Transit vans that had like mobile haircut vinyl stickers on them.
Yep.
It's like that should be here to stay. Mobile pet services, right? Let the vet pull up in your thing. It gives your animal shots and stuff. Boom. You want a haircut? Van pulls up. Yeah, it's going to be more expensive. But what's more expensive than having to drive like 30 minutes to the haircut place, sit there, wait, get a haircut, right? What's more expensive than 2.5 hours of your time?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like, would you drop the dude an extra 20 spot to roll up in your house and cut your hair?
No doubt.
So I just feel like the mobile services, the at-home services, tremendous business opportunity. And we'll do this on another episode, but anything that can like come to your house or curbside, convenience. There's people out there with a lot of money right now. There's a lot of people that don't have money, but a lot of people with a lot of extra money. They will pay for the convenience. So you could up your margin. You could have a more loyal customer base. There's so many positives to just making things more convenient for your customers. So I don't know. Any other thoughts on this?
No, I think you've summed it up very nicely. My overwhelming kind of thinking here is that the bar has been raised on what customers expect as customer service, and the idea that businesses now can do less than what's expected is that's just not a smart way to go. So as you said, just got to make things easy.
There's one parting thought. I see on the bottom of your screen here, it says, as of May 17th, all H-E-B stores in Texas began offering free curbside, right? Instead of $4.95 for orders, with a minimum of $35. I'd pay $4.95. I would make sure I buy enough shit to justify it.
Yeah.
And it ain't that hard to spend $35 on anything. Story I used on an old episode. I had a friend and his couple kids and his wife went to McDonald's and they spent like $50 because of it, in inflation, right?
Or they're just hungry.
I don't think they were that hungry. They still I mean, you used to be able to roll up and get a 50 piece for like $10 or something, right?
Yeah.
But not anymore. But I'd just spend $5 if I'm in a hurry and COVID's blazing and I don't want to worry about that shit. Or maybe I just want to sit in the car and listen to music while you go run around and pack up my shit for $4.95. Yeah, I'd do that. And I think if you saw the amount of people using curbside, a lot of people would. So back to the which side of the street are you going to pick up your coffee in the morning? Maybe I don't want to go to go to another store because they don't do curbside, and I don't want to go to H-E-B, but I'm going to because they're more convenient.
Oh yeah. So, with that small move, they've made curbside a differentiator for their business. So now people have to raise their level of service. So they're one step ahead by doing that.
Without a doubt. So, but for now, I'm going to run down to Lowe's and pick up my stainless steel screw.
Sounds good.
All right, I got you.
All right, thanks.